Hey everyone, it's Nick with Us versus Herd. If it's your first time here, like the content, hit subscribe if you want to get notifications for when we go live or post videos. Tap the bell. And if you want to join the UVH fam, links are in the description below to our Discord along with our free options trading group on Facebook. If you're here right now, say word up. Just trying to get going on here. We got J Rob, what's going on? Jeff, Julio, how's everyone doing today? Happy Friday. We made it through. We made it through the ringer once again. Another week in the stock market. All right. Made an 8% gain. Nice. So I'm happy. Congrats, Julio. Oh. Just getting caught up here. If you made money today, comment got paid. If you lost money today, comment learned a lesson. Today we had pretty wild day. You know, as you can see here from the S&Ps, we were down before ripping up before close. Thank God I got on my Tesla calls early in the day. Yeah, agreed. Yeah, I mean today overall was pretty crazy. Brad learned a lesson. Congrats to anyone who bought options on MU. J Rob learned lessons. Closed higher on Tesla though. Learned a lesson. Kathleen. Yeah, so today I'm up 290 on the day today. I'm up over 300 on the day, but this Nike loss was kind of carryover from yesterday. I was just kind of letting them ride. I was up. I made $140 on Nike yesterday. And then I took a $110 loss on that trade as well, so I'm only up $30 on Nike. But hey, still a gain, right? We still made money, learned a few lessons. Yeah, I mean today I made most of my money. I made all my money before 10 a.m. Central. So I was up, almost $300 before 10 a.m. Central. I'm like, okay, that's it. Gonna celebrate this Friday, this weekend. Just kind of take it easy, because if you guys remember on Wednesday I took a $600 loss. So I didn't want to overtrade. I didn't want to get too crazy, and good thing I didn't, because I was actually making money on long positions. I didn't trade that much today, but the positions that I did do, kind of go over what we did here. Kind of going back to yesterday. So yesterday I did swing trade Tesla yesterday. I had a strangle on it. So after I didn't fill my MU puts yesterday, saw it. Yeah, yesterday. So I had a strangle on Tesla. So after Tesla had that big move, I put a strangle on it for $525. I bought the 237.50 put, and I bought the 240 call. And if we look at Tesla here, when I put that position on yesterday, it was right on this candle. Even though it did go higher yesterday, I was still down $50 on my strangle at close. So but at $50 was only 10%. So I was only down 10%. So I let it ride. And then this morning, that strangle, when it was ripping up here, I was able to sell that strangle at 653. So I was really eyeing this, and had a nice 25% win on there. So for strangles, you don't try to make 100, 200, 300%, because you have to think about it. You're carrying a loss over from like the put or the call side, whatever side is going against you, you're carrying that over. So I took the 25%, and I'm glad that I did, because I sold it when it was ripping up on here, and when it came back down after I sold it, and when it came back down to the 241, 242 area here, it was actually worth half that much. It was worth like 350, which you could have got back in, but because they killed the premium in there, I went back in at 857. So 20 minutes later, after I sold, we'll kind of consolidate this. After I sold, I went back in, and I bought the 240 put and the 242 call at 857. let's see here. So at 857, right before this rip up here, you know, right when it was stabilizing here on like 242, 240, 240, 250 in this area, I bought the 240, 250 call and the 240 put for 271, and then it ripped up. I sold it at 935, so I sold it on this candle here. I didn't push it to 248. I just, you know, you gotta sell. When you're trading same day expirations, you gotta sell on the strength, and you can't waste a lot of time, because as you guys know, with theta, same day expirations, I mean these options expire today. With same day expiration, you have to take your money and go. So I had the, like, what are these worth at close? The 240 and the 240, 250 calls. You know, I sold them for 375, so I bought it for 271, sold it for 375. I think it went as high as like $5 for the strangle, but you know, you really have to just take it. Yeah, I mean, and then you see at close here, this is only worth 10 cents, 13 cents here if you were to buy these. But as you can see, I mean, we suffered a, you know, quite the setback today. So I sold all my positions before all that trade news came out. Yeah, Julio, I don't trade earnings, but I do trade after they come out. So I don't usually trade earnings, but I will trade the earnings release after they come out. Like I traded Nike. I'll trade the report after it comes out. I don't typically put trades on before. So, you know, I was thankful for some nice gains in Tesla. I mean, I made $232. That's where the majority of my gains came from today. I got into Home Depot as well, so I scalped a little bit in Home Depot. Home Depot, so I went long, and I bought the 230 calls. And actually, Home Depot held up pretty good. I just scalped. You know, I took a 30% gain. I mean, I've been scalping like 20 to 30% gainers, which is pretty good. I bought it for 51 cents. They went to 65 cents. I was playing the 230 put down in here, so I bought it at 920. So when it was starting to bounce up on here, I bought it. I think it was like 229.80 or something. I bought it, and then it ripped up pretty, you know, up to 230. I didn't get the full thing. But as you can see, these also closed at, I sold them for 65 cents. You know, these closed at 7 cents. So it did go up. I sold them for 65 cents. They did go up to $1 before crapping out. So, you know, I sold right in here. It did continue to go higher, but you know, I just had some big winners on Tesla. I didn't want to push it. I just wanted to take a 20-30% gainer and take them when I only bought 2 of them. Wish I bought more, but you know, it is what it is. And then also on the only other trade I did today was SPY. So SPY, I actually scalped again for like 20% gain. I bought them for 60 cents. I had the 297 calls, and then I sold them for 75 cents 9 minutes later. So what I was doing on SPY this morning, and this was before the trade news came out, when it dropped, it was pushing 297 right here. So at 940, I put the position on. So on this candle right in here, and then it pushed up to like 297.50. I sold them 9 minutes later. Let me see how 297.50, 297 call. Let's see what those are going for. These expired worthless. So like on Friday, if you're trading expiration Friday, you got to flip this stuff quick. So I sold it for 75 cents at 940. These went as high as 90 cents. So like I said, you don't want to be greedy on expiration Friday. And as you can see, if you were greedy today, you deserve to lose, because if you were buying calls, I mean, this looked like a pretty good V-shaped formation. Things were going well. However, as you guys know, like for SPY, last couple days, we've been having trouble around this 297 area, 298 area. So here, we approached it once here, and then we dropped. We approached it again here yesterday, and then we dropped. And then today again, we approached the 297 area again, 297, 298 area again, and then we dropped. And then we visited it again today as it was having a V-shaped chart. We then visited again, and then we dropped on the trade news. So it's like that area, whether you're trading the you didn't have to know that the trade news was going to come out. Just keep in mind, like, you got to take a look at the chart and say, hey, in this 297 area, we've been having trouble over the last couple days. So that's why I took profits. I just didn't want to push it. I took my 20% profit and I got out because I know we're having trouble in the 297.50, 298 area last couple days. So I didn't need to know that there's going to be trade war. Like, oh, how did you take off your call before you knew trade war trade news was going to come out? And you know what? I did not. I had no idea that was going to happen. If I did, I would have bought a bunch of puts, right? But at that time, I got out of my position because I knew that SPY's been having trouble here the last couple of days. Let's take the 20% win. We won 4 trades out of 4 trades a day. I'm 100%. So you can't just gamble like that. And I didn't want to take a risk of losing money, and good thing I didn't. And good thing I stayed disciplined, because when the trade news came out and those calls went from 90 cents down to 15 cents within 15 minutes. I mean, that's the risk. For those that don't stay disciplined, and for those people that have trouble being disciplined, when you hit 20%, 30% gains, don't feel excuse me, don't feel bad taking profits, because as you can see, this is a very good example how quickly, I went from 35 cents all the way up to 90 cents. I got a triple bagger here. Oh, look, it just got ripped away from you. Like, it got ripped from your fingers just instantly, like that. You don't want to do that. Yeah. I actually have it here. So what was going on today, Julio, is, and the thing is, nothing happened yet. So this week, I think, was a very hard week to trade. I don't know if you guys were having trouble. I mean, I lost $600 on a Wednesday. On Tuesday, I made $145, and yesterday I was up only small, like $50. So I'm still down a couple $100 for the week, but we got back the majority of it. I was only red one day this week, so the problem was that my red day was so large. So next week we have to make up a couple $100, which I think that we can do as long as the volatility keeps up, which now there's a lot of speculation. So, the thing is, Bloomberg put a report out saying that the White House is thinking about limiting Chinese investments, and actually the real issue was they're thinking about delisting Chinese stocks from the US exchanges, right? Made money on Tesla. That's it. Put on play. Still green for the month. Nice, J-Rob. So the issue here is that they're trying to possibly, nothing's happened yet, delist Chinese stocks from U.S. exchanges. And that impacts, if you're looking here, that impacts BABA, BIDU, JD, just to name a few here. And as you can see, like Alibaba, they dropped like $12 here. They dropped like $12 here. If you look at the 175 puts, I was actually thinking about going long Alibaba too, and it's a good thing that I stayed disciplined and didn't trade. I cut it off because I would have had a probably pretty big loss. I probably would have been down 150 or so, maybe 200. And today would have been a different story. All these stocks you could see reacted the same way. I mean, they did level out a little bit, but my question is this even legal? Are they legally able to do this? Because that means the government is putting its hands in free enterprise. And it also means that there's a lot of other foreign companies, not China. There's also a lot of foreign companies on the U.S. exchange, not just China. So what does that mean? It's just a really weird report. And look at these 175 puts here. He's up 700%, and they all went. I mean, they were chilling. I was actually thinking about buying calls, but these went from 28 cents to $12 within 15 minutes. They never touched it. They never touched it high. That's why, like, the big candles I try to sell. So like when you get a big candle and it's going in your direction, you sell, because it as you can see, it never reached that high the rest of the day. So you could keep holding and keep hoping, but hope is not a strategy. So that's why when I see big red candles or big green candles, whether I have calls or puts that's going in my direction, I don't feel bad selling those bars because as you can see, those profits are also taken from you. You went from 28 cents. I mean, I probably would have panicked and sold at like $5 because I'm like, hey, this trade just went from 28 cents to $5, and then it went to $12, which is still a win. Even though it went from 28 cents to $1 is a win. I mean, that's just crazy. Dude, 10 and 3 caught at the end, been homesick, crazy. And sorry to hear that. But I mean that's just insane. So either way you look at it, it's a win. When you win a trade like 400, 500, 600% in a few minutes, I mean, it's a win. There's no way that you could have known. I mean, you already have to have a position on it. The thing is, like, if you were looking at this chart this morning, if you look at this, okay, you probably got squeezed out of your puts, and the people that got squeezed out of their puts here when it dropped from 174.25 up to 175, like almost 175.70 here, they were getting squeezed and like, okay, the rest of the market is bouncing. These puts, we're going to cut losses, switch to calls, and then they got pissed because that report came out. So you can't like guess those kind of things. Like that's the way that I probably would have traded it. Is if I probably would have sold my puts down here. If I was riding this, let's say very typical trade for me on a chart like this. Let's get rid of that because I wait the first 15 minutes here of the day. I would probably, if it starts to come below, I probably would have went short around 175.75, and then it came down to 174.75. I probably would have sold already, and then I would have felt pretty good about myself because then, oh yeah, I sold it out. I sold it off before the bounce. I made money. I mean, don't get me wrong, that's still a winning trade. Would have made money there, but then, let's say you switch to calls. Then that's why it's not always good to, if you win on a stock, not to always just re-enter and like flip flop all the time, because then, as you can see, you flipped to calls. Now you could potentially lose all the money that you just made on this. So it's kind of a gamble. So that's why I don't necessarily like to go after I have a winning trade. I don't necessarily like to go right back into the same stock and try to make more money on it. Even though I did do that on Tesla today, but I felt it was safer because it was also a strangle. I didn't do like naked calls. I didn't do naked puts. So I put a strangle on because for Tesla, I wasn't sure which direction it wanted to head. It looked like it wanted to move up, but also it could have broke below 240. I mean, it held up pretty good today, considering it was only down 43 cents. But, I mean, it had a wide swing. It went from 242 to 248 back down to, like, 238. It had a $10 swing from top to bottom here. So, I mean, it was just crazy. But, I mean, you have to... I don't know if this is legal. I don't know in terms of Trump if he's just trying to strong arm, because it was at close yesterday. I don't know if you guys got the CNBC alert. They said that the trade talks are resuming October 10th in Washington. And then today they get crazy, like, stocks open higher. I don't know. Let me read my CNBC alerts here today, because it was like stocks open. Yeah, this morning. Okay. Here we go. It is stocks open higher with U.S.-China talks set for mid-October. That was at 8:31 Central. Then at 10:40, stocks turn lower on a report that White House considering limiting investment in China. And then it comes out 30 minutes later, White House deliberates block on all U.S. investments in China. And then at close, stocks fall as U.S. weighs limiting China investment. So, like, that's how quickly things can turn. And this week has been a really weird week for news, because we had the impeachment news. Now, then we had, things are going well for the China trade talk, because while Trump is getting threatened with the impeachment stuff, he's like, you know what? A China deal is coming out sooner than you know it. And a China deal may happen sooner. And then next thing you know, then this happens where they're trying to delist Chinese stocks and get all crazy. So, don't trust people. Don't trust people with your money. You gotta minimize your own risk, and things are gonna get crazy. Things are gonna be crazy. Don't believe every headline, because as you can see, the headlines could do a quick 180, and you don't know up or down or what's going on. And this is very confusing, especially if you're a newer trader. you're gonna get in trouble. So that's why you don't put your whole account. Oh man, we're gonna do a V chart formation bounce. We're gonna explode today. It bounced. We went from green to red. Now we're green again. We're gonna explode. And then news hits, which has nothing to do with any fundamentals, has nothing to do how good the stock market is doing, has nothing to do how good earnings are, has nothing to do with the companies. The reason it went down is because of the trade war. You can have the best analysis in the world, and it wouldn't save you from this news. It would not save you. So I'm sure that will make you sleep well at night. But the reason why I'm saying this is because you need to be able to minimize risk on your account and be able to adjust. So if you were in calls, you need to have capital in your account to start buying some puts and protecting your account and getting some of that money back when the market turns against you for news like this. Because this stuff, people that go, I've known people that have gone 100% in on their account, and you're going to get in real big trouble because something like this is like a nuclear bomb, blows up your account, and you would have to fund your account to trade again, So anyways, learn it the hard way. You guys have any questions? If you guys do me the favor, hit the like button. I'd really appreciate it. Helps my videos out a lot. Also, thanks to you guys, we hit 8,000 subscribers yesterday. I didn't go live yesterday. I didn't post any videos because I actually needed a little break from videos. I've been posting like 2 videos a day. I've been doing a live stream and a watch list, like analysis video. Yesterday I just kind of took off. And so, thank you guys. 8,000 subscribers. I cannot believe it. It's insane. You guys are, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. TTTA equals tweets trash technical analysis. Yeah, if you look on our Discord now, I do have a Trump's tweet section. So it was requested. Oh man, look how many tweets Trump did today. Oh my gosh, look at that. Yeah, I'm draining the swamp. Well, I think you're draining accounts too, buddy. Man, yeah, Trump has been busy. So we got I don't know, man. Any stocks you guys want to look at? I've kind of said what I wanted to say. I reviewed my trades, and let's see, 20 to 30% is 100%. Yeah, 100 times. Yeah. What happened to I'll stop trading Tesla for at least 17 days? Hey, Tan, I saw great opportunities. And good thing I did, because that was a big money maker today. HD, J-Rob, news happened. The one thing that for Home Depot, things have been holding up Home Depot because the home sales reports. So new home sales like doubled expectations, and then existing home sales, they also beat expectations this week. So the home sales reports are definitely helping out Home Depot. And as you can see here, we're still chilling at all-time highs. I mean, it is a little bit lower. We're like $5 lower than all-time highs, but this year we've went from 158 to 230. And it's holding up pretty good, and most of that is I believe, is due to the home sales, existing home sales, and people spending money on improvement projects and that kind of thing. So that's why I think Home Depot is relatively safe right now. In terms of retail, it's one of the few retail stocks that I think is going to be doing well for the foreseeable future, because people like me that own homes and people like you that own homes, what do you do when you need something done? You don't Amazon it to come tomorrow. You go to Home Depot, you get your plywood, you get your screws, you get your stuff. You go to Home Depot so you can see how it feels. Oh, this didn't work out. Go back to Home Depot. Okay, I like this paint color. I'll go to Home Depot. So it's a very physical thing because you're physically building something with your hands. So Home Depot, it's been gravitating towards like 230. It has been getting rejected around here, around like 231 area. Last like four times it came up here, so it's going to be interesting to see if they can break through and revisit the highs. If not, I think we're going to potentially revisit the lower 220s if it can't break above here, because it has been pushing like 231, 231.50. However, back in here on September 19th we hit it. Also, September 18th we hit it, and September 17th we hit it, and now we're at September 27th we hit it, but now we've dropped lower as well. And yesterday we hit it as well. Yesterday we hit it, but we're still consolidating up here, so we'll see if we're going to head lower or not. I think it really depends on what the market is going to do. That with like Costco as well. Costco's also, but Costco's chart doesn't look as nice. It's still descending here. Keeps getting rejected here at like 290. So I think that we could potentially come back down to like the 270 area. So I've been watching this. I mean, possibly 280. So we'll see right now. There's a lot of optimism on Costco. Yeah, McDonald's isn't going anywhere. McDonald's long term. BYND is another one. They had the McDonald's news and they also held today. I mean, they're down a couple bucks, but no big deal. Pretty much they're testing. So they didn't roll out the McDonald's. The McDonald's hasn't rolled out the food yet. McDonald's is currently testing in like 12 restaurants on whether or not they want to roll out Beyond products into McDonald's. And if the test goes well, I mean, they're going to hit 1,000 locations. I mean, Beyond's probably going to be like, what was it, 270 again? No, 240. So, BAC. Yeah, BAC banks have actually been holding up pretty well. Banks with, I think, JPM. Let's see, JPM, and yeah, these were hardly moved today. These closed all green today, even though they are at their weekly lows. BAC. I do think that it is kind of descending. It needs to really break above like 30-30, 30-40 to start making kind of a bullish move here. So we'll kind of see, right now to me, it reached highs up here at like 31, tapped this a couple times and dropped. And then it looks like it obviously tried to rip back up, but looks weak. And then it couldn't quite get back up here to 31 and now is currently descending. Daniel, I messed up and left my positions on while went to a wedding. Yeah, that's the risk, Daniel. If you have positions on, you're not able to monitor them. Either you have to be very confident that those positions are going to work out, or you have to, whenever you have a position open, you're open to risk, no matter what that risk is. Whether it's good risk or bad risk, but the risk is you could lose. The thing is, people's minds like, okay, I'll leave this on, I can make money, I can do that. But the risk also, like days like news events like today, it could really hurt you. There's probably a lot of people that lost a lot of money today. So if you made money today, be grateful that you made some money today, because there's a lot of people hurting. This definitely hurt a lot of people. Boeing has been having some news about, what was their news today about the 737? It was the Boeing CEO is to testify to the House, his first appearance before lawmakers since the two failed crashes. So I know that Boeing, they're also testing to see if they're going to have the 737 Maxes fly again. So not thrilled about that. But Boeing's just been kind of getting tapped out up here. I mean, it's doing well, but I don't know if it's going to revisit its highs here. It really depends on what this news is. If they approve the 737s to Maxes to fly again, we're probably going to be up above 400. But right now it's just kind of chilling and consolidating. What's your take on Disney, and how do you think their stock will perform on the lead up to the release of the streaming service? Well, now I don't speak for everybody, but I think that the release of Disney Plus in terms of a family, like for me and my family, like I'm already signing up, and because of the Disney library and the content that brings for kids. Not necessarily, I'm not really doing it for myself. They might have some cool shows on there, but I still like to watch Netflix. I still like to watch HBO and Showtime and that kind of stuff. But for kids, I think it's a game changer, and it's coming out for like, $6 a month. I mean, basically pennies. And instead of having to buy all these Disney movies that the kids want to watch and own, they're going to have it on Disney Plus. And just that library alone, I think for kids, like if you just think about the movies by themselves, it's worth more than the $6 a month just for those movies, because you'd have to buy those movies like $20 at a time, and if you have kids, you know that once they start watching a movie and they really like to watch it, they want to watch it over and over and over and over again for like a year. So there's going to be a lot of value in that when they're catering to kids. I mean, I get the Star Wars and Marvel stuff too, but families, adults are not going to want to get rid of the service if it's making their kids happy and keeping their kids occupied. And so the library that they're going to put on there is great. And for $6, $7, whatever it is, whether you get ESPN Plus and Hulu Plus and all that stuff, I think it's a great value. I also have a Hulu subscription, so I'm going to be rolling in the Hulu. So I think it's a win-win. I think it's good to have a competition for Netflix. Whether or not it fills this gap here, I'm thinking it's probably not going to unless the market really, really, really takes a dump, here in the fourth quarter. If the market takes a dump, we're probably going to gap fill here. Like if there's nothing that's going to save it. But Disney will probably drop if the market tanks, but what's going to save them is their earnings when they report, we had X amount of subscriptions. Because that like last quarter on Netflix, they missed subscriptions and they tanked, it was the catalyst to now bring them much lower. So, for Netflix and those kind of companies, they thrive on how many new subscriptions they have. And Netflix bombed last quarter, and if they have competition, and now think about this, they're going to have Disney Plus, they're going to have Apple, there's all this new competition company. Netflix is probably going to get slaughtered because a lot of all the momentum is going to Disney and Apple, right? I mean, I'm not too excited about Apple that much. It doesn't look like they have that much content that I would enjoy. Maybe in the future they will, but right now, Disney Plus, especially when they're going to bring in ESPN, Disney, and then they're going to have the Hulu property as well. I mean, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to compete. Everything's coming from the vault for old guys like us. Yeah, Apple TV. But I mean, I think if anything, Disney's probably going to thrive in the short term on the momentum of Disney Plus, and then it's really going to have to come down to execution. Once their shows start getting watched, and let's say, hey, their Marvel shows and Star Wars shows are getting great reviews. I mean, like if you remember like Netflix when they had Daredevil, and Daredevil was a game-changing TV show for Marvel on Netflix, and that really helped boost numbers. Punisher, what are some of the other originals? Like the original shows on Netflix, people were signing up just to watch those shows because they were so good, and they still are. There's still a lot of great shows on Netflix, but they're going to have some really steep competition here, because nobody can compete with Disney's vault and the equity that they've built over the last 100 years. They have things no other company has. Why do you think it's tanking so bad when people have known there's competition from the start? Why do you think it's tanking so hard? I'm not sure I understand when they've had competition from the start. I mean, Disney Plus hasn't released their service yet. So, there's always this speculation like the consumers could reject this service if it sucks. But we'll see. Chances are it's probably going to do pretty well. All right. Any other questions before we sign off for the weekend? Yeah, but I mean, if Tan, if you're looking at Disney on the 1-year chart here, it's still winning. Sure, it's been descending, but I mean, unless it back down here at like support, unless it gap fills, I mean, we're probably going to be chilling in the higher 120s, 130 area. So right now it's chilling here, kind of at support. You know, it's bounced in the 129, 130 areas quite a few times, and then today even hit 128, and we bounced up with the rest of the market. But like I said, if let's say the trade war gets really nasty and the stock market starts shedding 5-10%, which we were in last year, you know, if you look in you know, like down here, nothing is going to save you. Even back then, Disney was holding up pretty well down in here. Disney was dropping, but they held up pretty well. They only dropped 10% from 15% from high to low here. You know, 115 down to 100, and then, you know, kind of bounced back. But Disney's also, pull up the 5-year chart. Disney's also a company that hasn't had stock growth in over 5 years. This is the most growth it's had over 5 years. It kept getting rejected at 120. If you look back here, 5 years ago, hit 120 and we dropped back down, and then never got back up at here until recently. It hit 120 in 2018 twice and dropped again. And then the only reason why it gapped up, I mean, it passed 120 because we had a huge gap up on earnings. So earnings was explosive, and even last earnings didn't really do anything for the stock because the stock moved so much. So Disney the stock hasn't moved in 5 years. You know, it hasn't been able to get over 120. It's just been coasting between 90 and 120, and that's all it's ever been doing. You just had to buy and sell, buy and sell, buy and sell. There was really no growth with the company or the stock in 5 years. But now that they're adding Disney Plus, that's why there's optimism that this kind of changes them more into a tech company versus an entertainment company. This puts them on a different level, like a level with Netflix and Apple. So even if you say, oh, why is stock going down? This is much higher than it was 5 years ago. Even 2 years ago, 3 years ago, because it couldn't get above 120. Maybe it might close the gap, you know. But I don't think it's going to have anything to do with Disney. It has everything to do with the market right now. You know, that's why you know, all the IPOs are failing right now, is because the money's not being pumped into the market right now. You know, we haven't had. You know, Disney's doing pretty well. The overall market isn't doing much better than it was, you know, like 24 months ago, 20 or 22 months ago. You know, we were still, let's see here. Yeah, last year we were, so we're coming up on a year. So in a year, well, we'll say actually, you know, 20 months ago we were at like 286. Now we're at 295, and there's been a lot of volatility due to the trade war, and we haven't really experienced much growth. A year ago we were about the same price. Let's see, at the 27th of last year we were at let's see here, 27th of last year we were at 291. So not doing much better. But Disney's been putting in some pretty good growth. J-Rob, take it easy. MU after falling. Yeah, I mean, the thing about MU, we did talk about this, is that I did talk about this on the live stream, was it a couple days ago, is due to earnings. You know, this earnings was not today's earnings. Last quarter's earnings was a catalyst for it to move higher, and I think it just was kind of overpriced, overextended, and now it's going to come back in range, probably back in this range here, where it was like probably bouncing between 40 and 44, like this. You know, unless we have some really bad news. Like I said, the market right now, I think there's a lot of speculation. All this is gonna, we need to know what happens with the trade war. And October is gonna be a big month because we also have all these companies reporting earnings in October, and we're supposed to meet with China October 10th. I mean, and also October is also a month that is extremely there's a lot of volatility. So, anyways, it's nice hanging with you guys and girls. If you watch this video to the end, comment below. Watch this video to the end. Definitely appreciate you guys. You guys have a great weekend. As always, it's us. Stay safe, stay green. It's us versus herd.